南无大摩须耶娑哈，我南无满就须耶，南无梭须，南无大摩须耶娑哈。也觉当作给做那拉将就班都那的给手机，大给去年给别做那给，若拉本节上给出发说。给当作给做那拉将就班都那的给手机，大给去年给别做那给，若拉本节上给出发说。给当作给做那拉将就班都那的给手机，大给去年给别做那给，若拉本节上给出发说。我是对于就是没多少，非常的是一点点把你撒起心都没点红绿，难道是他却把树木不用让他们哪怕到你呀的呀。Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. Think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but for numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want even a small suffering due to mistakenly engaging in objects of adoptions and abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our minds, instantly generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and the causes of excellent happiness that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I'll cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as pain, sickness, and harm caused by 4 elements. May their bodies be free from the entire discordant class. Or free their bodies from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as the sufferings of fear and all coarse and subtle negative discursive thoughts. May their minds be free from the discordant class. Or free their minds from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as lying and all coarse and subtle negative speech. May their speech be free from the discordant class. I'll free their speech from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the entire class discordant with accomplishing virtue. May their three doors be free from the discordant class. Or free their three doors from the discordant class. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if all sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. Our freedom from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take on the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms? I should take on the responsibility to free all other sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms. Even though I should take on the responsibility, I do not have the ability to place them in the state of perfect complete enlightenment now. Who has such abilities? Only those who have achieved the state of perfect complete enlightenment have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment. Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind. The aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. These transform into a complete mundis at one's heart. And the ultimate bodhicitta, which is one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness, all phenomena lack inherent existence. These transform into the aspect of a white five-pronged vajra on top of the mundis. Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. If they were inherently one, they would necessarily become partless one. If they were partless one, they are following faults. It would be pointless to assert a self. The self will become many. The self was subject to production and disintegration. It would be unreasonable to remember past lives. Karma one has done will go wasted. One would meet with karma one has not done. Therefore, the self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently one. The self and the aggregates do not exist as inherently different. If they were inherently different, they would necessarily become unrelatedly other. Therefore, the self and the aggregates neither exist as inherently one, nor inherently different. Thus are empty of inherent existence.
也就是我说，我甚至给这可能是就是拍些这个样的生活的给情绪的，那个他妈看到公益社会，因为我什么东西，到年上过是基本告诉，那讲到年上过是基本，对对，现世界条件，2万中的对外的找第一切的，啥，你当时要去找不进我的当年，搞到年上过是结果呢，那第一个是给这个已经拍些样的时候，真是。
As I always say, it is very important to conjoin the roots of virtue of our three doors with the practice of six perfections. Thus, to conjoin these roots of virtue with the practice of six perfections is as follows. The first one is generosity. The nature of generosity is a mind of giving. These 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma is for the sake of achieving happiness and purifying the sufferings of all sentient beings. If I cause these minds of giving to manifest strongly, then if I'm able to cause this mind to manifest strongly, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of generosity.
对吧？那我也是把这里就我是蛮担心，那年少过是基本告诉，另外个年纪那个我都嘛就所以我明白的，你的公司去找不就是当你放在年少过是结尾呢，那第一个是给这的，是就把两个是关系。
Next is morality. The nature of morality is a mind of abandonment. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will properly abandon my physical and verbal misdeeds without letting them manifest. If I am able to cause these minds of abandonment to manifest strongly, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of morality.
随后的我注意性吧，随便我什么东西，那年少过是基本告诉，有点谁了，因为他刚一开始就给你通过给你同你去学吧，就找会出来，放在年少过是结尾呢，那第一个是给这的随便把这两个是关系。
Next is patience. The nature of patience is an undisturbed mind. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will patiently accept any difficulties and hardships of my body and my mind. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of patience.
第一就是我们政治的给我了重视或者政治我什么东西，那年少过是叫我搞我的，就政治中为呢，第一个是给他的政治不一样的是关系。
Next is joyous effort. Joyous effort is a mind enthusiastic for virtue. For virtue, I will joyfully and enthusiastically engage in listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of joyous effort.
我上帝的谁给明白了，最基本明白了，上帝就我什么东西，他讲的年少过是基本告诉，谁的难度的难有的他马上，我讲的比小跟谁的颠簸要不一定的，那年少过是结果呢，那第一个是别的的，是上帝不一样的是关系。
Next is concentration. Concentration is a mind that single-pointedly focuses on virtuous object. I will single-pointedly focus my mind on this virtuous activity without being overcome by distraction and discursive thoughts. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of concentration.
我觉得根本就是把的许多情况什么东西，他年少过是基本，谁的太考虑的话，兴趣么的话，要不就系统吧就全部一样，但第一个是也在的许多考虑的是，但是。
Last one is wisdom. The nature of wisdom is a knower that thoroughly distinguishes phenomena. I will properly and unmistakably understand the words and meanings of the Dharma that I listen to, contemplate, and meditate on. If I engage in this manner, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of wisdom.
因为就是刚好要不结果，开始在突击的上级工作，可能连接的方面确实呢，这两年确定不今年生产的很多很多，这都是可能我觉得。
Set a good motivation for the sake of for the sake of all mother sentient beings. I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
可以啊，这里现在你这里讲说的6年的嘛，6年底下的公司的意思。
So today we will begin chapter 2. We will start chapter 2, confessing negativities.
那6年底下小的刚才的人，我说一般下来，他搞到了家伙哇，我说搞到了一般下来，搞这个切的人是呢，他讲究是生活，讲究是生活，第一切都，那我说地方下来，一样啦，差的，缺乏的，讲到我们当地，别讲到你们多些参与团呢，人家去地方下爬是啊，你们多些参与团呢，人家去地方下爬是。那今天晚上你把下巴的两晚上，今天晚上是属于没有受伤，马上毛毛有了吧？你把下来的晚上，你把下来的接了，好吧？
So confessing negativities in general, there are many reason or there are many goals why we are confessing our negativities. In this context, we are confessing negativities in order to uphold bodhicitta. So in order to generate bodhicitta, then we confess negativities, unconducive conditions by means of the complete four opponent powers, having preceded with the branches of preparation, prostration, making offerings, and refuge. So,
那这到我说地方下来，我说这到时候是搞多久没有？对，我国那边的去主播的连度假上来，得了钱都没人，像下东去，其他年包东西的呢。啊，以前过的那些年是老师把这里边300年吧，休息完的台湾人呢，得了钱都没人别，呀下东去是吧？下东去吧的。啊，刚到旅游过呢，少见老师把这里的，就话中国休息这边呢，得了钱都没人，都下东去啊。啊，刚到很多生钱老师把哇，那边没些个少见老师把这里去呢的。啊，要不介绍给谁得了钱都没人，那我就下东去呢，那下东去啊，你把钱的什么哇？那就你把打下来，钱吧有的时候，你谁搞多了可能，说说给能出卡钱吧，那能出得了钱都没人，你下东去啊的，要你谁给，我就下把钱了，你把钱啊，得有的时候。
so we confess negativities in many occasions. For example, when in some occasions we have a very clear object. So the objects such as the negativities, negative verbal actions such as saying harsh words. Mentally, if we harbor evil thoughts or negative thoughts, harmful intentions, covetousness, and etc. And verbally, if we physically engage in some negative actions such as killing sentient beings and so forth, or engage in violent actions. So when we have these specific object in our mind, then we confess negativities. Then it makes the confession becomes more powerful.
我肯定是让我说，家长起来的我说，没些钱都没啥的，就是吃吧是不是我说吧？那我说等到搞多几辈，俺就是三十没钱，我说，用是送完了，别搞的，别了把几斤给去，别搞的看要把得他的吧，啊，这个你把这把。那我从感情里吧，大约得把切到下把情谊，是下到机会噻。那让那边长期生活过去久了掉了，那边的掉俺们的，吃了忙不的得到吧的，是吧？那边离了掉了边，给你环境，你把考虑啥玩意呢？那得啊， 아버지 지금 이상 그래서 상호 그다음에 제가 이러고
As I mentioned just now, when we have a specific object in our mind, then it makes our compassion become more powerful. So here, in this particular context, in order the specific object is in order to generate in order to uphold bodhicitta, then I confess negativities, the unconducive conditions or the obstacle to the generations of bodhicitta or to the upholding of bodhicitta. So therefore, I confess all the negativities that have accumulated since beginningless time. So I confess in order to generate, to uphold bodhicitta, in order to generate bodhicitta in my continuum.
그래서 다들 가서 샤바 제발라 안다 장주 세 빌라 제발라 샤바 제발라데 안다 엄마 와서 샤바 비워 샤바다 가다 연도 이 대진이 디바 샤바 그봐 디바 샤도 좀 뭐 도시더니 그래서 나지 뭐 도시더니 에 샤도 제어디 와서 고수 논이 받지다 상호 땅들은 가서 다 디바 샤도 제어다 니가 지금 샤고니 아니 그냥 디바 샤야기 디바 되다 가서 배 디바 샤바 챙겨줘라 샤바 챙겨대 간다 디바스도 간다 로시지 모두비 돈에 상황 빠도 봐이나 예 샤도 뒤치야라 하는 이거 셰 그래서 그러와
So in order to do this, first one has to make offerings, do prostration, and take refuge. So as a way to confess as means to confess our negativities together with the four opponent powers. So, and when we confess our negativities, and as mentioned before, it's very important and it makes a difference in our confession of negativities as well, which is conjoin it with the meditations on the non-observations of three spheres. So to conjoin our confessions of negativities with non-observations of three spheres. So the non-observations of three spheres refers to the meaning of emptiness. So three spheres, such as the person who confess negativity, so the person is empty of inherent existence. So the person does not exist inherently. So by thinking so, and together with by thinking in this way, then it makes our confessions of negativities become even more powerful.
되겠습니다. 하나서 도망가서 저바들이 와. 저바들이 그bat 저바들이 그bat가 진주가 싸우는 거와. 내가 지금 계속 정말 능력을 해야지. 인지 그래서 인지 생겨서 와 저희 대진세가 나도 단비시 공조 전부를 산지시 연대 전도 나랑 내가 주의해서 이게 저거 진도와 그다음에 쉬어요.
So then the first verse in chapter 2, then as I mentioned, so as I go through this, the root text, these verses in the root text, then this also become oral transmission. So I will cover all verses. So chapter 2, confessing negativities. Chapter 2, verse 1. In order to uphold that precious mind, I make excellent offerings to the Tathagatas, to the sacred Dharma, the stainless jewel, and to the children of the Buddhas, the oceans of excellent qualities.
가서 로소지라 다 로소지다 정말 신고라 그래서 신체에도 디시 공부도 지금 다 지금 뭐 무시서와 양자심 부르지 내가 로소시와도 제가 그냥 주고요 다 간다 이 소소를 강 여바데 많이 계셔 말이 이 피하게 소소를 그냥 세나 뻗장내 봐지와 세나 뻗장내 봐지 다 맞고도 뭐 로지라서 가리나 와 어디서 비하더라 다 간다 세나 거자는 주지대 최제의 남바다 거지. 삼바데 수수께 세나 부자의 삼바데 리시고다. 삼바 들어와. 좋아데. 이게 고절이야. 그비도. 좋아. 좋아 그거. 이거 어쨌든 저거 필요하면 나도 제가 쉬어줘야 감사했어. 나도 저거 필요하다. 이거 예수가 그때 그나 안 줘봐 야래. 무슨 구셔다 되면 취비 취제돼야 맞아 놓쳐다 되어 많이 봐. 스스로가 여봐이나 간다 맞아 싫어 많으게 지가 제가 그저 이거 말 피하게 제를 비다 아버지가 피하게 상바다 비다 아버지 해내 같이. 피비까지 소속에 리와게 좋아돼. 리와게 좋아돼. 구셔다 되면 그러니까 들으시 비바이나 땅원에 비다 아버지 차고. 비슷한 것이.
So in order to make offerings, so first one has to understand what are the offering substances and what kinds of attitude one should have and what kind of behavior or application one should have when we make offerings. So the substances to be offered. So the substances to be offered, it can be of three types: the substances of our body, the substances of our speech, and the substances of our mind. So offering substances of body, speech, and mind. And when we talk about offering, so offering is not about the number of offerings or the amount of offerings. So when you have offering substances, that offering substances must be pure. So pure in the sense that is not acquired through five wrong livelihood. So five wrong livelihoods, and I mentioned it many times already. So the pretension, flattery, uh, 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 pretension, flattery, hinting, extortions, and etc. So, so those offering substances are not acquired in by by five wrong livelihoods. And when you offer with proper attitude means that you do not have any miserliness. You do not have any miserly thoughts when you make offerings. And when you uh, offer, make those offerings to the three jewels, the objects of offerings, then you offer it respectfully and in a proper manner.
하나 죄지 말다 된다도 된다. 죄지 된 하도록 저거 비야 그거 보고 제 거리에 특별 로소다 만들 비다버지 아 간다 이거 비야 제리 두치 아 좋아들라 무슨 마기 정하지 무슨 어디 정하지 우리와 마기 정하지 봐 우리 정하지 몰라서 어디 가서 우리와 정하지 오 대시 다음서 이 집에는 내가도 비비도네 봐 대바시 거지 와 여기 전에 뭔가 아주 좋아 비어 어다 들리 참바이나 당연히 저거 비어 제라 어느 계셔요 말에 뜻비다고 비슷하고 봐 차고요 좋아 바로 피고 있는 비슷하고 차고요
So in brief, the things or the substances that we offer is not required by lifelong, is not acquired in five wrong livelihood, and the behavior or the application when we offer, then such as verbally we recite the mantra of offering mantra, and mentally we offer it with or based on faith and respect. So if we make offerings in this way, if we make offering in this way, so it's not about the amount of the offerings, it's not about what the offerings is. No, yeah, the offerings is many or little, it doesn't make any difference. The amount of offering doesn't make any difference. But as long as you make offerings in the manner that I mentioned just now, things, substances with the proper behavior and attitudes, then it makes your offerings become an excellent one. So it makes your offerings become an excellent one. So it's not about the amount of offerings.
어디가서 저거 비어 비시와 너도 나를 죄죄다 상마 죄사인 하게 좋아 상마 좋아를 이 수가 죄사인 봐 근데 대 비랑 죄사인 디디로와 난 저거 비어도 가르기 쳐 다들 값도 줘야 한다데 단다디 값도 저거 뭐 가르기 쳐 그래서 간다와 저 비어서 다들 뭔가 생지 탕지치, 그와 관계체는 생지 탕지치, 생지 탕지치 가르치도 가르치고 것은 생지 탕지치도 내조 탕지 중에 이 최고제단다 이 장주시 세로 거치 예수와 셰치도 그와 최도 쇼와 생지 된도와 생지 장주시 세제를 가도 신 생지의 최도 무슨 상관 장주 세제로와 대마지바 나 장주 세제야 보는 거와 예수 예수지 최도 선은 다만 장주 세제를 제야 보는 말이야 관계 체도스나 개인적인 체도 네 내초 타진 중에 정보치기 네 자체고 단주 세대 중앙 체도 미스 단주 저 피해 그것 너도 되다 그거 피해
So this is the brief explanations about the substances of offering, together with attitudes and behavior or application. So, and for what purpose? Why we are making offering? So, in this context, the purpose of making offerings is to uphold bodhicitta, the precious bodhicitta, from which all collections of goodness arises for the sake of all other sentient beings. So this is the purpose why we are making offering in this context. Here is to uphold the precious bodhicitta from which all the collections of goodness arise for the sake of all other sentient beings.
어디지 단 저거 피해 되지 그거 되지 단 저거 비서 유도 소리 스타트 거지 저거 비서 유도와 저거 비서 유도 한마서 봐도 도로 봐도 좀 봐. 저거 비서 유도 20바 상지 20바 상지 나다 다 상지 네 전에 되고 어디 봐 소소 봐 제단에 도스 제고 20바 상지 전에 되고는 저거 비 상지 전에 돼 가지다 그러면서 대 상지 대다 그 투지라 여기 간다 최근죠 아 어디다 정말 로브라고 로브지 정말 미리다 대바지는 어디다 안지 때마 남대로 근데 상지고 최근죠래 간다 된다 도도시는 본조소들이 저 비슷 어디다 안지 때마 최근죠 최근죠 내가 간다 나 메디 그죠 네 아빠 체리스 와서서 아빠 체리다 야비야로서 그 상지지 세에서 다 자주스 봐 봐봤어 봐 다 장就是什么解释解释那想些爸爸老师吧给他谈起来呀一个月是那结果比这个月的是吧结果比这个月的那等到多多现在工作说结果比这月子对吧那等到多多现在工作说
So next, we need to identify the objects to which we make offerings, to which which we offer. So then the objects of offerings here. So objects of offerings here refers to the recipients to which we make offering. So it's not referring to the object, or it's not referring to the substances of offering. So here, objects of offerings refers to the recipient. So yeah, so when we make offerings, then we need to identify the objects of offerings. So in our visualization, then we are making these offerings to numberless Tathagatas or Buddhas, and then we are making these offerings to the Dharma jewels in the continuum of their minds, which are true cessation. So true cessation means the Mahayana true cessation without adventitious states, and they are naturally pure, and together with true path. So we are not only we make offerings to numberless Tathagatas or Buddhas, we also make offerings to the Dharma jewel in the continuum of their minds, which are Mahayana true cessation. There are Mahayana true cessation that is without adventitious stains, and they are naturally pure, and true path. And besides that, then we also make offerings to the children of the to Sangha. So Sangha, such as the Arya Bodhisattvas, the children of Buddhas, such as Ayya, Chareze, Manjushri, and so forth. So in brief, the objects of offerings are identified as three jewels.
다들 도도 주의를 도도 싫어 안 되시면 그거 좋아. 그래서 저거 비약이 제일 Zeda, somebody, Joa, the people, somebody shoots our Jiroa, he shoots at it, Chuba Pia, Chuba, Ingiroa, Angichu, the people that they shoots our Jay, the piece of you take others, they shoots our Jiroa. There's some of the Roji, you should set that. And that don't do the harbor was over. So, seeing it in Yajgurua, and Yayat also, that you do shoots out. You don't have to buy Judge, which you should in Mamushivarina, but to do the sale and have to have that track. That is it's a that is Jelma. The one way to social might be fair. What is it?
So I've briefly covered the substances of offerings and attitudes, and also application of behavior, and also the purposes of making offerings, and identifying the objects of offering, which is the recipient to which we make offering. So I've briefly covered all these 5 points already. So even though it's a brief explanations about these 5 points, and however, it is easier for us to keep in our mind.
That was when Choba went like Harasina, Babi Mazu is Zish Choba Jeda, and Jean Louis Wata, Louis to be Choba, yes, only that's what is imitation. Choba's only because.
So when we talk about the actual offering, so actual offering can be divided into actual offering has 3 points or subdivisions. And the first one is offering unowned substances. And the second one is offering one's body. And the third one is offerings they are emanated by mind, or offering mentally emanated, mentally emanated offerings. So there are 3 subdivisions. So the first one is offering unowned substances. The second one is offering one's body. And the third one is offerings that are emanated by mind, or making mentally emanated offerings.
Oh, dear. That was W Mazu in Choba to show it. W Mazu in Choba should be Zeda. It don't sit down. W Mazu Zimbi, Juzeda, Soya as well. Yes, soon. That's something that you or that tradition on. And the Roa, Rakanda, W Mazu, Zish Choba de la, W Mazu Zish Choba song, the Chibi Zeda, the way sit down. W Mazu Zimbi, Juzeda. So that is one as well.
Under the outlines of offering unknown substances, again, it has 3 points or 3 subdivisions. The first one is the substances of offering, and the second one is the modes of offering, and the third one is the reason why, the reason for offering unowned substances.
That was a kind of GPZ, W Mazu, GPZ is a show, the show the W Mazu, GPZ is a show, or Zeta. That's it in a peer as the junior sort of Matimoja. Medon Jupiter, Yobada, Ninja number Yobada, Jitation teaching Yobada. It's on you don't want Jirodon, in Chase Wood on the Tishingo, not such a nation, Yanga, the Gishin Medo, Yibatan, Chiga, Rezan Yanga, Yibatan. As Naya, Irani, Peter Passan Hinder in Chihins, Mane to be Lord Nombata, Chia Chiba Yubi Janata, so that Zimba Penny, Jambata, number Hindo Penny, Yon de Nese, but the Lechola did what?
So under the outlines of offering, the substances of offering, so the substances of offering here refers to the offering the unowned substances. And then under this outline, then there are 3.5 verses. So start from verse number 2. Whatever flowers and fruits there are, and whatever kinds of medicine, whatever jewels exist in this world, and whatever clean, refreshing waters, jewel mountains, and likewise forest groves, quiet and joyful places, heavenly trees ornamented by and bedecked with flowers, and trees with branches laden with good fruit, fragrances and incense of the realms of gods, with fulfilling trees and jewel trees, uncultivated harvests, and all ornaments that are worthy to be offered, lakes and pools adorned with lotuses, and the beautiful cry of wild geese.
How do so much this is a meal or this is what I'm trying to say. And 이게는 더보 맞을때 매도다 빼말아서 매도도다 알아서 이제 붙이네요 봐. 그 가보다 민지리 그렇다. 다 간다 매도라서 알아서 뜻을 지내요 봐. 그도도 이게 그렇다. 이게 다른 맞아 매도 빼마 소다 매도다 알아서 이제 붙이네요 봐. 쓰리지. 가보서 민지 그렇다. 가보서 민지 비신 넘버 가요 봐. 다 대만에 대지라 단 지진지 가는 세다 올라서 뭐 지기 비치네요. 다 도도도도 좀 어떻게 되는 거야?
Mm. Yeah. So basically, here it talks about offerings, the offering substances. Then there first it talks about the flowers, flowers and flowers such as lotus, and then whatever fruits they are, such as ahura fruit, and whatever medicine they are, such as camphor, and whatever precious stones they are, such as gold and silver.
我这些刚才说的进步是楼对吧？我这些刚才说的进步是七上移动啊，对吧？不像嘛移动啊，那谁了是不是默契一样是吧？也在移动啊，主要是默契就了什么移动啊？那电脑性哪啥的啥小责任对吧？那哪啥嘛就啥小了是吧？你看到我对对，你想要不遇到不对，那移动啊，对了吧？我对了是吧？那军训买到那是进去这肯定这个比打过对了吧？那心这不起是吧？心这不是上面肯定不起，那两个去了对吧？那他的那老师给你听了，那连起几把叫我的情况的，那对他看到迷容的是吧？那智商过的都比别的稳定去马上就行，那是我去那时候就比行，那就是看到一种人家已经错的，必须怎么被面前吧，电脑吧，电念吧，都把移动啊，像我们的话，啊，同学就慢慢把怎么的，对同学那个心慢慢把那个的话，新同学慢慢把。啊，别可能然后一起的处理给高度，那么对吧？那电脑是吧？先工作了，确保越不但这个人的强度的我吧，工作了别个吧，这进去个人的强度的呀，我是，那都是学着就是老干部的吧，就是就是吧，你让人家直接的你让人家可能。
So all these are different names of the offering substances. So besides the flowers, fruits, and medicines, and also those precious things such as gold and silver, then we also offer lakes, pools, those clean and pleasant, refreshing water, and we also offer 8 jewel mountains such as the Gold Mountain, and we also offer forest growth. They are very quiet, pleasant, and delightful. And we also offer forest groves, places, and so forth. And we also offer trees and bushes ornamented by different types of fruits. And we also offer trees and trees with ripened good fruits and etc. And we also offer sweet smelled or fragrances. They are in the human world and in the Naga world, in the realms of God and the realms of Naga, and natural and they are mixed together and so forth. So we offer whatever fragrances they are in the realms of God and in the realms of Naga as well. And we also offer incense, different types of incense, and we also offer wish fulfilling trees, and we also offer uh, we also offer different trees. They are created by different types of precious stones, and we also offer a wish fulfilling lake, and we also offer bathing pools ornamented by lotuses, and then we also offer those pleasant cry of wild geese, and we also offer those unplowed self-arisen harvests. So basically, we offer whatever they are worthy to be offered through the three jewels.
那是做起来的是这么个，这只你偏给你直接是吧？那做起来老马给你是吧？哇，这是没事干的，这个，但我能觉得不是那么学意是吧？
So this doesn't require much explanation since it talks about different types of offerings. Then the next outline is the modes of offering. So under this outline, there is 1.5 verse. So start from verse number 5, third line. Everything unowned within the limitless spheres of space. Taking these with my mind, I offer them to the supreme beings, the munis, as well as their sons or children. O holy objects of offering, compassionate ones, think mercifully of me and accept the offerings of mine. So it says everything unowned within the limitless spheres of space. So limitless spheres of space also refers to the objects of offerings, which is the recipients of offerings, such as those Buddhas and Bodhisattva, children of conquerors. So they are numberless, then they are like limitless within the limitless spheres of space. So everything unowned, then I take these with my mind. So means that I'm doing the visualization. I take everything unowned with my mind, and then I offer to all the supreme or holy beings, such as the munis, as well as their children, bodhisattvas, and so forth, and all holy objects of offerings, compassionate ones. So to those holy beings in whose mind stream compassion are present, then compassion is present, then think mercifully of me. So all holy beings, please think mercifully of me and accept these offerings of mine. So just now I said within the limitless spheres of space, I said it relates to, it refers to the recipients of offerings, and it seems like it refers to the offerings itself. It refers to the offering substances itself that are limitless, that fills up the limitless spheres of space. It means that those offerings are extensive. And those offerings refers to those offerings that are unowned, and then within the limitless spheres of space. So means that those offerings are vast and extensive.
하들은 아주 상업 저거 피해가 상업 가르다 보면 고순 넘버 다바를 상업 안에 개체 뭐 시버린 거 그래서 저거 비싸게 이해될 아니지 뭐도 봐. 예. 저거 취비기 제대 아니지 뭐도 봐. 저거 피기라니 봐. 포함하라니 아니지 뭐도 봐. 어다 들리지 상업 안 주요다. 주제다. 저거다. 아, 저거 뭐하고 순간에 아니지 뭐도 들리지 상업이 또 봐이나但是你个情况休息了，是吧？那地方是下冻结了，对吧？是吧？你把下冻结了，我说能把大别多呢，把下冻结了呀，你是说你把全部留个是吧？那等待都是几把人，那俺这确保比赛的有的，确保的这的，确保的，不要帮你，是吧？我得说的，看他，我已经能把他，我得理上他这个，那得你把全部讲的是。
So just like confessions of negativity, so we think about the purity of three spheres. So similarly, when we make offerings, then it makes our it makes our actions of offerings become more powerful by being conjoining it with the purity of three spheres. So purity of three spheres is same as the non-observation of three spheres that I mentioned just now. So in this context, when we are making offering, then the three spheres refers to the recipients of the offerings are empty of inherent existence, and the substances itself, the offering substances themselves itself are empty of inherent existence, and also the person who are making offering, such as oneself is making an offering, so oneself is empty of inherent existence as well. So these three spheres, the objects of offerings, which is the recipients of the offerings, and the second one, the offering substances, and the third one, the one who make offerings. So these three spheres are empty of inherent existence. So when we make offerings in this manner, thinking of the purity of three spheres, then it makes our offerings become more powerful.
다들 나도 사바지와 제가 우리를 때다 저거 비하게 어쨌든 너무 제발이나 다시 너무 쉬어야 돼. 근데 저거 비하게 제대다 저거 뭐보다 그거보다 비싸게 여다로 예수님한테 내가 무슨 말이 봤으면 다들 너무 비싼 당 이 친구 친구 뭐 저거 어찌들다 저거 무슨 뭐 저거 무슨 일이다 이 세상 내가 친구 무슨 어디나다 어떤데 지고 말해 이 가디나 가서 또 필요한 디상당 그거 그야 여당 저거 비싸고 여당教育되다 안다 저거 이제 저거 안에 저거 이게 뭐하고 하니 왜 고소는 아니지 그게 좀봐 뭐 들리 넘버 답이 되니 그 상황 봐이나 아니가 치아야 돼 그때 된다도 생각이 지디 와 다 제마 보제래네 수수 제페 내가 가서 매번 치아마다 참아들이래 힘이 제도 뭐 참아들이래 힘이 제를 깔래 가고 와 어다 매번 치아마다.
So in relation to this outline, the modes of offering, then the one important point that we have to keep in our mind is, as I mentioned just now, the purity of three spheres. So purity of three spheres, or three spheres are empty of inherent existence, or the non-observations of three spheres. So it refers to the same thing, meaning to meditate on the emptiness to meditate on these three spheres as empty of inherent existence. So the recipients of the offering, in other words, objects of offering, and the second one, the offering substances, and the third one, the one who makes offerings. So these three spheres are empty of inherent existence. So it's very important to keep this in our mind whenever we make offerings. So yeah, whenever we make offerings. So so thinking about those offerings such as fruits and etc., flowers and etc. So this we can we can visualize, we can make any kinds of offerings.
다들 원래 가서 들리거든. 답이 맞으면 이제 뭐 이제 그래서 답이 맞으면 이제 뭐고요 와. 답이 맞으면 이제 뭐요래. 다들 그 준세를 가려서 당와서 와 이런 말이 스마스스마와 라비 마즈 젬비 인제도 마셔야지와.
So then the next outline is the reason for offering unowned substances.
다들 또 한다. 다는 소나무디 계신데 대비 노신 달라 장만 지지. 이나 신데 몸에 연구인지 다들 되는 인지 이제 시기세. 다들 쇼로 진도와.
So under this outline is verse number 7. Not having married, I am destitute, and I have no other gifts to offer. Thus, O protectors, you who think of others' welfare, through your power, accept this for my sake.
다들 그 빌려 좋아하는 게 있는 거데. 맞아 일리시 쳐봤던 진실 비사 간다. 맞아 답이 맞아 쳐봐서 간다. 수도 이제 좋아. 근데 내가 이제 피하는 가르쳐도 피바래. 해서 좋아하는 게 좋아. 예 완전 피바. 해서 좋아하는 게 좋아. 그것도 좋아하는 게 상담이나.
So you think why we are offering these unowned substances. So why we are visualizing that we are offering unowned substances to the three jewels. So if this arises in your mind,
안돼도 이래고 일리시 쳐봤던 진실 그 피고래 너무 이동원 내가 된 것이 뭐지 이걸 와서 이 누구 누구나 이걸 와서 나한테 민들이 무슨 좋아지 지스 민들이 그러와.
So besides the questions that why we are making offerings that arises from mind, in other way, why we are making these offerings that we visualize, and is okay to just offer, is okay to actually offer these gifts to the recipient, right? So again, it's questions.
답이 맞아 이제 좋아요. 맞아. 뭐 혹시 좋아로. 네. 다 신호가 쏘고 비셔가지고 이제 방법 열어와. 하여튼 뭐지 뭐지 보여라. 앞에 나기 하다냐 봐서 나가 난자 큰지 해도 봐서 그 너무 있으더라 말레우리 되게 자신 보시고 이제 보여라. 아 그것도 뭐 이시장이와 이시장이 도시야 부여와. 나들이 배하게 주세. 이동아 얘다 땡을 뭐냐 지금도 와서 지금도 와서 이렇게 뭐 너 다 준세를 내는 거야. 다 내도 와. 다네에서 다 내는 거야.
So these unowned substances, so there are 3 verses talk about unowned substances such as flowers, trees, and so forth. And then why making an offering that arises, that arises from mind, and is fine to actually offer them, right?
그러면 그 서울 말리고서 다는 서울에 가서 주세도 쉬고. 그날 때 그날 이거는 왜 들이 일에 좋아 들이 자체 뭐 들이 가서 가서 괜히 그거야 이제 가는 서로 이거지 이제는 누구도 와서 좋아. 나한테 넣어대. 다는 다 취지 좀 봐. 그래 산지기 좀 봐라서 뭐 들이 계자. 저는 자체 뭐 싸마 두고 대이 진지. 라운드 근데 아직 공도 너희라네 마음을 지어봐 대주가 나시 때 말아 그래야 돼요 말이지. 근데 너도 되게 마시는 와. 근데 이게 나마 그때 에 신비기 자체고 싸마 도바지 신비기 자체고 싸마 도바 이 진짜 간단하게 피하게 되게 다시 제가 나시 되게 달라 요 말이지. 네 우버리스 나 줘버리스 안돼 된다 너도 될 거야 나 줘버리스 아무 데지도 와 되게 피하게 나라 내가 왔으면 나 줘버리스 와.
So why we make an offering that arises from mind, and it's fine to just actually offer these things, right? So then the answer to this, or the reason for making an offering that arises from mind, is because so it refers to the practitioners oneself. So the practitioner who has not accumulated extensive merits in the past. So especially I have not accumulated extensive collections of generosity in the past. Therefore, I have nothing to offer. Since I have nothing to offer, I'm destitute or I'm poor.
내가 당에 공도 저번 뭐 공도 되게 몇 번째 강가된 거 뭐 누구래 되나 저거 예배 노지 사마데 나라 간다 두시 요 말이스 간다와 요 말이스 이게 또 남아 간다 진비기 또 자첨부 사마 또 대지기 내가 나가 되게 피하게 근데 그 공도 왜 나신 알아 무스 요 말했어 요지 이동화 뜻하다 요 말했어 왜 매웠습니다 내가 간다 이 진짜 뒤에 돈에 내가 간다 진짜 맛이 쳐도 나 진짜 맛이 쳐도 아니 간다 저거 너희랑 피바데 보고 전화지 나도 맞아 제스 사마다 전화지 여러 시기 있어 진짜 신경 된다 진짜 신경 된다고 신경 주고 그래도 하나 되나 야写了起意思那个내가 맛이 공부这个觉得그거 전화지 나도 맞아 이제 지다 간다 답이 봐 무슨 내写了起意思写了起意思我dire错多少钱나 누가 보라니 내가 내가 나错多吧的虽然老情况啥呀力气的你先把力气的다 간다写了起意思那就是对吧간다 야 쉬워 계산해 있다고
So the reason for only making an offerings that arises from mind is because one self has not accumulated extensive collections of merit, especially the merits of generosity. So, and because of this reason, therefore, I do not have any gifts to offer. I do not have those gifts as I visualize. Therefore, I'm making these offerings I'm making these visualized offerings or the offerings that arises from my mind. So because of this reason, therefore, I'm making this offering that arises from my mind. And yeah, so please, protectors. So protectors who single-pointedly think of others' welfare, please accept these unowned offerings of mine through your own powers. So, and the purpose of making these offerings unowned substances to the recipients of offerings is in order to quickly complete collections and to accumulate extensive merits.
다 간다 다 공부 지나지 간다 두 제와 친비 도제 야 이거 그거는 이거 정말 수술 나그시네 제거서야 예로 지니스 된다 도도 되려와 제거서 예로시 나란테 이거 이나서 나라요 말 근데 내가 도도 될 것이나 나라 때 매와 성사 나라고 소세나 사야 초초가 대체도 한다 영어 전화지 신경과 이체도 해야 되다 예로 지니스 이게 예로 지니스 도도 되려와 나 주제 되다 다 그거는 막 좋아하는 것들 다 레즈다가 누가 주제
So the questions or doubts and the reason it has answer exactly to one's doubt. So the doubt is why are we making an offering that just arises from mine because I'm destitute. Destitute because I have not accumulated extensive merits in the past. Therefore, I do not have any gifts to offer to the recipients of offerings. Therefore, I'm offering these offerings. Therefore, I'm making these offerings that arises from my mind. So please, protectors who think solely of others' welfare, please accept these unowned offerings, these offerings of unowned substances.
방금 다시 보는 거서 저거들 간다. 나도 마서 이제 저거 배워야 돼. 된거 잡고. 나도 마서 이제 저거 좀 잘해. 나 저거를 가르쳐. 뭐 이런 거 리워에 저거 줘라. 이런 거 리워 세진이 이런 거 리워 저거 줘라. 테마 야 지어와. 근데 여기 나도 마서 저거 들어서 와다. 나도 마서 저거 그냥 핀도서 맞지. 어디 이제 가서 나도 한 리워. 어디 마셔 줘.
So up to this point is offerings of unowned substances. Next will be the next outline, offering of one's body.
다들 저거만 저다 디세나나 다기네 다기 린데 텐도 호지 셈바 초나 다네 문지시 이 치지만 치와지스 다네 치지 용스 존에가 시나가 디센지 템버기 문지 딜레 양다 대지 디바시 안지 무지도 오세 다디 쇼로니 도와
So under this outline, offerings of one's body, then there are two verses, verse 8 and 9. Eternally, I shall offer all my bodies to the conquerors and their children. Please accept me, you supreme heroes. Respectfully shall I be your subject. Through being completely under your care, I shall not fear conditioned existence and shall benefit sentient beings. I shall perfectly transcend my previous negativities and henceforth shall commit no more.
다시 고도 때 답이 맞아 좀 보다 때 리자 첨보데 소소에 르랑네 도스 마비바이나 다라 와기 비야 근데 이거 말이지 내가 왔다 근데 한다 신경 가지 진행 가지다 소소 글로 있으라니 이거래 라라 비야데 요 말이 스테르와 아 단다데 답이보다 라라 와이 이게 보고다 라라 요가 보고다 라라 요가 들어와 다시 본다 소소라 요 말이 이제 답이 맞아 이거 말이 이나 근데 소소나 사야 제도 간다 리버로이 mambo지 쓰라니 기야데 단단히데 아다다 디스 마다 요도와 다 단단히 달라 와셔다 리여 나로 피어 나로 리다 소로 요로와 소로 와 요로와 다디 리디야 우기스 비사데 다와세다 제바나 다와다 데이세 장주 심발라서 대달라 나 와이 다 리데 닝가 그야 아 소소가 당시와 로데 고이스 어떤 얘기에서 네 리드 파파네 처음으로 파피자디 저서 우리에서 인생도 dimada 말하게 있어서 나와니 네스 와 리드 파피오디 다브셔 또 돈에 이 때도가 우리 미스 투이스 sempre chora da vida é gerochis é gerochis é dirwa tá aqui quando ele logo mudou até só uma vida mona tá aqui quando só uma vida diz eu maro tem meu assunto é pelo lá no morwa ali mais um jeito que morwa da dirida.
So unlike previous modes of previous explanation, so previously we talk about oneself is destitute and I have no control. I do not own those substances or those gifts. Therefore, I have nothing to offer. Therefore, I'm making offering. Therefore, I'm offering those unknown substances to the three jewels. So in order for me to accumulate extensive merits. So please, compassionate ones, protectors who think solely of others' welfare, please accept these offerings. So unlike this previous part, then the next part is offering one's body. So offering one's body is something that I have control of. So it's something that is under my control or that belongs to me. So offering one's body, then the verse it says, eternally I shall offer all my bodies to the conquerors and their children. So what it means is eternally I shall always discard the thought thinking that those bodies are mine, and then I shall offer all the time my bodies to the conquerors and their children. So eternally I shall offer all my bodies to the conquerors and their children means that having discarded the thought of holding those bodies as mine, I shall offer eternally all my bodies to the conquerors and their children.
Oh, dear. That and that live here, the best of all, one day, you'll be that. That's all awareness of you'll be poor. But you'll be the put in a prayer there, a action of my, and that so we put that in. I can show you the war. That little go to the point. I got a pre two at the Kanda, so of the new cabinet, the dog went up there about the Kuba. The best shoot channel when it be the poor China money. And that once teaches the China Jew. Hola Jesus one. That really chance to put the channel, put the chance of one Chinese, one side chance with Jabogi and member, Jabo is Lamazo, for your Lambos. Not Jabo will call Lambos to the Kanda, Jabo one Jabo one side, Jabo one side, put Lambos, Jabo Costola, Mission the secret, never too much about Jabo Kuruma Singular. Jabo will call us this is there's never cheating law. Never did a job of cheating to us. You are keeping more. That job will call it the 4 months yet, 2 Nashi. One double call 2 Nashi number in the summer did Nashi, double one grade. The Nashi Arabic did Chichana, those Jawasi that you are a picture is the pizza did challenging no man was what the big and someone conducted. 아니 봐도 저는 피자를 저한테 제시는 좀 같이 있어. 저한테 제시는 저한테 그 제기도 왜 다른 분 있어. 그 소가 그 가르쳐만 다른 분이 있어. 그 상당히 딱 얘기 들어.
Then please accept me, you supreme heroes. Respectfully shall I be your subject. So means that what offering one's body. So here it talks about something that is under my control or that belongs to me. So one here it offers one's body to the three jewels, and then yeah. So and then just like the king's retinues, just like the retinues of a king, such as ministers, like servants, and so forth, they are under the control of kings. So they are king subjects. So therefore, they are under the control of kings, and then they are under the power of kings. And so we cannot simply do anything to harm those king's subjects, right? So similarly, once I offer my body to the recipients, such as Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so it becomes it belongs to them. So having offered my body to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then my body becomes my body belongs to them. So please, and then you request Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, please take care of me, and I will accomplish whatever you say. So you, out of faith and out of respect, you offer one's body to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then to request them, to request them to take care of me. So once you offer your body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it belongs to them.
오 들어와. 다른 저는 지금까지 두개 비싸서 두개 그거 들어와. 나쁘게 그거도 간다. 이거 이거도 간다. 대박도 그거지. 저는 지금 마스 간다로 가지고 두개 비싸서 나 피는 다른 게 해서 그냥 이 저치시는 나 피하다. 바로 쳇. 나 소속에 그 준선다 저러와. 이 가르쳐서 내가 저도 리리아 피자디 지금 가는 와 용수수. 그래서 다시 공도 쇼바나 이 주변에 주바 그래서 자부 정보라 얘기 때 코단 봐 배워 간디지나 자부래 와서디 제가 내가 제가 뭐였어 자부 있어 내가 지발에 맞아와 신앙에 봐 지발에 자와 차사리스 멤버 이게 봐지야라 지발 신앙에 봐 차사리 나 말은 리데 차서가 저와시다 지발이야 피자 이제라 그렇잖아 지금 간달로마 제스 송사리 나랑 집바 가를 잡으면 나서 거의 등아 jan속이 시빈 집바 등아 집바 대단해 자는 것도 있어 저는 까고는 있어 간다시 와 집바 대단해 이제 지금 있어 와 시빈 거의 등아 jan속이 집바래 딱 간다 그래서 저도 무슨 집바 대단해 저는 있어 와 저는 시고 있어 나 마시는 길에 가르스나 저한테 완 저는 간다 와야게 그래서 저한테 송장 신기하는 송장 무슨 와 소리에서 그래서 내가 간다 저한테 와서 저한테 다살이 대치네 거의 동안 전서 집발 간다 너와 대치 간다 나 도도시나 거의 동안 jan소지 집발 되게 잘했어 와 되게 잘했어 그래서 필요했어
So one, out of faith and respect, offer one's body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and the purpose or the reason for doing so is because, just like the example that I mentioned just now, if like those ministers or servants and so forth, they are under the care, they are under the control of a king, so they are king's subjects, and therefore others dare not harm those objects and harm those king's subjects. So those ministers and servants are free from fear of being harmed. So similarly, having offered one's body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then the verse number 9 says, through being completely under your care. So having offered my own body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it has come under, it belongs to you, so it's under your power, under your care. So I shall not fear conditioned existence, and I shall not fear conditioned existence means that, so having offered my body to you, so it belongs to you, is under your care, and through your blessing, so you will always protect me. So therefore, I'm free from the fear of oceans of samsaric sufferings. So that is what it means by I shall not fear conditioned existence. So since I'm under your care, I shall not fear. Fear of what? Fear of the oceans of samsaric suffering.
나도 필요해 도시 시험을 했고 하다로와 지바다 자니 그 생기는 편바 지시 있으시도 와 거다 들어야 된다 가르스나 다 간다 라니 집에 리데 다 자네라면 야 그자데 자네 저기 차오도 출사레스 차오도 출사레 지바 간다 야원 자와리 그 자와 디 도체 니 상호 가르스나 다 장고에다 자인 거죠 메비 뜻은 냥타 난 거죠 메비 신체 냥타 봐 디솔라 그 간다 나랑 지바다 자차와 순자 야 피디 자차와 순자 장고에 되다 메비 로아 냥타 봐 로아는 내가 더 타두기 이끈도 부서라 지바 나와 순지 쳔비 자스지 쳔비 덴바다 대와 코나 루야기 미기 대바다 이바 여스 로아 내가 여스 니 의자다 자이 신체 냥타 봐 여러 부서라 봐 배바 두야지 부서라 나 배바 두두 그래 나랑 배 이빠들 봐 걔네 좋아 의자 오더 자와시다 지방 의자 오더 치자래서가 이 치자들가 집바다 잘했어 집바다 저 대도저 의자다 전된 게 나 로아 냥다 봐 지로 로아 냥다 봐 zul라 좀더 지야 좀더 이거 가는 주 이세 아 간다 이 비야데 제시 담반은 지 내가 가르쳐 신경 많이 줘야 돼 와. 내 신경 많이 줘서 제시 장주스 뭐 상지 용스도 봐게 그 줘야 돼 여기 로아 냥다 봐 외자다 저 냥다 봐 고슬라 여기 상지기 칼이 나면 돼 얘들 지수 때 왔다 얘기 로아 냥다 봐라 뭐 지금 있어 비야데 어디게 되시고
So having offered my own body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I have come under your care, or my body belongs to you. So I'm free from all fears. I'm free from fears of oceans of samsaric suffering, and having free from the fear. So by this power, I shall benefit sentient beings. So Bodhisattva's deeds is to accomplish others' welfare, right? So just like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, similarly, I shall benefit other sentient beings. So I shall benefit other sentient beings I shall benefit other wretched sentient beings who do not have protectors. So I shall accomplish this. I shall accomplish or I shall do just like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas would to benefit other sentient beings.
자간다 라니 집에 요 엄마가 그러면 되게 디바 마모 사바 저바 난 나와 디바 저바 봐야 돼
뭔가 디바 타야 돼.
디바 다 가서 리스가 그저 집에 담바로 와 야와시가 집에 라니 빅죠 뭐마 예 왕도 마셔봐 되게 와 왕도 불러놓고 진짜 왕도 불러놓고 누구 니왕도 디바 마모지 사자래 디바 저바 봐야 야 피해서 와 디바 저바 아야가 신체 나ppe 소라 과장이 디바지기 니스 아간다 도스 수소게 먼저 무슨 도스 장인서 와 당연히 저 엄마가 란도 콜로지왕이다 레녀바 산이 디바 마모지레 다저파 가야가 신체니 소라 과장이 디바지기 니스 어서 상호도 리토니 간다 야리도 그거 와
So having offered my body with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I shall perfectly transcend my previous negativities. So those negativities and negative karma that I have accumulated in the past due to mistakenly engage with objects of adoptions and abandonment, and henceforth shall commit negativities no more. So from now on, I will not commit these negativities even at the cost of my life. So he also talking about the commitment, one's commitment that one should have when we offer our bodies to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
어디지로 나간다 랑게 리고하다 다 잡아지로 난 저바는 나도 저바도 저바디 다비 마즈이 지지 저바다 랑게 리고 아닌 것은 다 너희 집이 쳐봐서 그래, 좋아. 너희 집이 쳐봐. 그래서 너희 집이 쳐봐대. 이마, 좋아.
So with these commitments, then we offer one's body to the recipients of the offerings. Then next outline is offering offerings that are emanated by mind.
다 너희 집이 쳐봐서 내가 가서 나는 예비 쳐봐다. 나는 예비 쳐봐서 니에 오래. 너희 집이 쳐봐다. 좋아. 너희 집이 쳐봐다. 나는 예비 쳐봐지나 나는 예비 쳐봐지. 니시. 그래.
So under this outline, mentally emanated offerings, it has 2 points or 2 division. So the first one is surpassable offerings, and the second one is unsurpassable offerings. So there are 2 division under this outline, mentally emanated offerings.
다 나는 예비 쳐봐. 나는 무슨 나는 예비 쳐봐서 나는 예비 쳐봐서 랑이 쳐봐. 랑이 고나 쳐봐 이 여봐나 나는 예비 쳐봤어. 랑이 고나 쳐봐 이 여봐나 나는 예비 쳐봐. 랑이 고나 쳐봐 이 매비 쳐봐 나는 예비 쳐봤어. 근데 와 쳐봐 나는 예비 쳐봐대. 아버지 그러니 쳐봐대. 랑이 고나 쳐봐 이 여봐나 나는 예비 쳐봤어. 그 랑이 고나 쳐봐 이 매비 쳐봐나 나는 매비 쳐봤어. 아무나나 예비 쳐보면 좋대. 제일만 달려고 와.
So what does it mean by surpassable and unsurpassable? So surpassable means that they are other offerings that they are surpassable to itself, to it. So there are other offerings surpasses it, therefore is called surpassable.
다들 쳐봐니 쉬어돼. 다들 나가서 다라나 예비 담불라나 예비 쳐봐서 내오래. 좋아.
나나 maybe 쳐봐 대 지시 개사인 배기 거나. 당긴데 내가 랑기 공나 쳐봐 공나. 솔라소 요 나한테 공나 한테 지 마도 라메. 예. 또 unsurpassable.
랑기 고나 쳐봐 이 여바는 나는 예비 랑기 봐. 랑기 고나 쳐봐 이 매비 쳐봐는 나는 매비 쳐봤어. 나 건다 지나가는 예비 쳐 매비 쳐봐니 지시도 되게 좋아.
And unsurpassable offerings means that there are other offerings. There are no other offerings there are no other offerings surpasses it. Then they are called unsurpassable offerings. So surpassable offerings means that there are other offerings that surpasses it. Therefore, they are called surpassable offerings. So this is a general explanation for surpassable and unsurpassable offering.
다들 나가서 나나 예비 쳐봐도 마시아니다. 나나 예비 쳐봐들라 나나 좋은다고 쳐봐 주니시. 좋아. 쳐봐 주니. 나 쳐봐 주니데 간다. 추이다. 나자. 지 슈바 메도. 셰지. 난세. 샤메카고. 누구다. 로모. 치비 넘버 짐 쳐봐. 신기라봐. 데 주니데 좋아. 치비 넘버 짐 쳐봐 신기라봐다. 유니스. 나나 예비 쳐봐. 나도 주니데 시고 좋아.
And under the divisions of surpassable offering, again, it has 12 points or 12 divisions. So the first one is ablution, the second, garments, the third one, ornaments, fourth, ointments, fifth, flowers, sixth, incense, seventh, fruits, eighth, lights, ninth, offering inestimable mentions, 10th, parasols, 11, musics, and the last one, continuous blessings as the aspects of offerings.
다들 마시면은 다 chance 좋아야 지 땅잖아요. 이제 뭐 제가 말이야.
Yes, so continuous blessing the aspects of offerings. So before I talk about the surpassable offerings, then do you have any question?
Last time in Midland Ramlin, we said unsurpassable offering are those offered by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to the three jewels, I would think, right? Unsurpassable are those offered by bodhisattvas. Surpassable are those offering by sentient ordinary beings. It can be also add that explanation.
Yang lamrim jambekap la yang lana mebi chöba tan lana mebi chöba di kola yang song yoris ini ni buaina yang lana yobe chöba den do ini yang zami peba tusu kiwo yue chöba ini di lana yobe chöba ini di lana mebi chöba ina yang jangchu sembe pyue chöba den do ini di lana mebi chöba dende kowa lena jigiyo mas.
또 근데 계속 말했지. 와서 나는 여기 쳐봐서 다짐을 주는 봐. 하다 나가서 매도다 두다 py에다 제제도 좋아. 그쪽에 오늘 다 쳐봐 내려 하도 쳐봐 싫어. 그래서 오늘 나는 저 먼저 나는 쳐봐서 구상 쳐준 거야. 근데 된다 구상 쳐지. 구상 쳐지 뭐 다보세요.
상추리는
구상 쳐지. 구상 쳐는 거도 다
상보.
봐봐 군도 잡으면 쳐봐다. 그 컨디션에서 부산 출신서와데 왔다고 가서 군상서와데 안 도쇼다 가쇼니를 치고니 이거 군상서와데 가서 장주고 생라 바상다 노루싱아 노루가서 가서 군상서와데 장주고 생라 상다 군상서와데 장주 생라 상다네 장주지 생기 시빈 쳐봐대라 나나 미리 쳐봤어 노루 장주지 생기 시빈 쳐봐대라 나나 미리 쳐봤어 와 다음으로 나는 매비 쳐봐들라 와쇼라 샤바이나 야 아로아 대동 렌지지 이시 대동 렌지지 이시게 예 근데 넘바 나서봐 아 매바치니 유야지로 그래서 와쇼게 때 위상 취직 자원 와쇼가 나는 매비 쳐봐들 좋아 단단하서 노쇼가라 이거 가서 위상 취직 다워서 나지 되는 가서 나 매비 쳐봐들 다와를 나는 위상 취직 아마 근도 잡이 쳐봐 와라서 군사 지리지 군사 세워야 가지고 거야 뭐해야 돼 군사 세워야 장주 생활 방식으로 군사 세워 노루샤나 군사 세워야 장주 생활 상황다 와쇼나 대돈 니스베 이히라 넘바 저거 나서만 내가 지금 피해 대돈 니스베 이히라 저거 나서만 내가 지금 피해 어디 와쇼나 군사 지리지 뭐 나도 가서 장주 생기면 계산하고 다 핑계대 다다 맞아 장주 생각지 저 고야지나 나 장주 생각 보면서 와서 내가 보고 간다 장주 생기 좋아 내가는 좋았어 나는 여기 좋아서 장주 생기 그게 쉬고요 말 그래서 나지 매도다 두개 중과돼 장주 생기 그게 바로 와 그래서 들어와 나지 간다 된다도 도시
그래서 라나 유바 추바 나 디지당기 추바도 매도라
그래서 들어와 여기 쳐봐로 와
장주 있으면 심마심이 계셔요 말
계속 쉬고요 계속 쉬고요 다 라나 매비 쳐봐서나 맞아 나지 여다 쉬어도 부산 취지다 벌로 부산 취지 부산 지와서 가서 도쇼라 고단지다 와쇼라 고단지 미래고
So your understanding of unsurpassable offerings are those offered by bodhisattvas. So regarding these, and I will explain later. So in general, when we talk about surpassable offerings, are those offerings, general offerings such as flowers, trees, fruits, and etc. It doesn't. There is no involvement of bodhicitta. So are those surpassable offerings. And when we talk about unsurpassable offerings, so unsurpassable offerings, when we generally when we talk about general unsurpassable offerings, then it always says there is a common example is such as the clouds of offerings of Samantabhadra. So unsurpassable offering such as clouds of offerings of Samantabhadra. So this Samantabhadra refers to clouds of offerings of Arya Samantabhadra. So in Tibetan it's called Gunsang. So Gunsang is Samantabhadra. Literal translation is all good. So all this Gunsang or Samantabhadra can be divided into two. One is from the Sutra's perspective, and another one is from the Tantra's perspective. So Gunsang or Samantabhadra from Sutra perspective means refers to those offerings that are being conjoined with the bodhicitta. Those offerings they are being conjoined with bodhicitta, and those are Gunsang or Samantabhadra, lots of offerings of Samantabhadra from Sutra perspective. And from Tantra perspective, this word Gunsang or Samantabhadra refers to those offerings that are they are visualized and offered, refers to those offerings that are visualized and offered out of the exalted, spontaneous exalted wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. So those offerings that are visualized and offered out of the exalted, spontaneous exalted wisdom of non-dual bliss and wisdom, non-dual bliss and emptiness, then those are Gunsang or Samantabhadra from Tantra perspective. So then back to your understanding. So those unsurpassable offerings then are those offered by bodhisattvas, right? So then you can link it to the sutra perspective that those offerings that are offered being conjoined with bodhicitta.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Geshe-la, I have a question. Making offerings of one's body, is that inclusive of speech and mind as well?
So ini dagi lubu wasete yang nga angi lu nga yisun yoro. Dagi lubu wa ina tiang lu jibo de xia de yang nga dangi yang lu la du di yonas. 是的yonas.
基本上说，我说几天呢？我说被啥个被我说老师当然他们的女的个来的，我说啥子你的是公布的对的话，我说被东方给西天了的，东方给西天有啥呢？我说啥子你的是舒服才的话，一瞧着的，那当我说刚一介绍的，啥子你的是舒服，东方早啊西天了的，有啥的破个差的的，你要不差的，那就当我说你不差的，等到去了，另外有什么不都不认识的。 那点不努力是，我这西天的刚刚有啥做，那我这那女的啥叫你那是舒服的吃的，舒服的，也吃的的，那我这刚进然后呢，差不多是抢到，我说等到啥叫你那是舒服的来的，
就像你得骗你，
我这拼觉得另外一是让了很多个意思，我另外说刚刚有啥子不过了，那刚其实这个来的我话，我这了身上也要配出的。 按几个里面那个手机，哪怕都把刚把接吧，哪啥对你的一家这就，人民来过了，我啥子你是不对吧？就是这样几把，刚才搞完是拿把手啊都把接吧，把什么长完啊，等于几把它传到我们是，那这里头的那个单单好像另外一种个比如没看的，是吧？第二个，看到搞的什么，我觉得网上的是，可能你大概没了的，但你意思他接没是吧？ 那你哪怕的你意思啥没事，你刚把的你意思大概几个意思，我就把比赛意思是吧？上去要是就把那比赛的，你大概几个意思，大概就把它台湾意思懂多，你大概就把它台湾意思，你大概几个意思，那意思哪怕是你刚把是，你大概就把差不多就往上意思，为的人，你这样来电话的，对，是吧？台湾的什么就你比赛，真的比赛的话，赶紧看看这个里头的话。
Yeah. So, this body. So for worldly beings or for ordinary beings. So from how's it the basis on which we experience the sufferings or the root of suffering. So root of suffering here refers to the basis upon which we experience the sufferings is this contaminated, appropriated aggregates. So we offer these contaminated, appropriated aggregates or this body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to the three jewels, or to the recipients of offerings. So explicitly, it says offers one's body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Implicitly, it includes one's body, one's speech and one's mind as well. So what it means here is having offered one's body from which we experiences all sorts of sufferings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then having offered to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then it becomes Buddha's subjects, or it means it's under Buddha's care. So, and I do not hold this, such as my body, as mine anymore. So I do not have this thought holding to body as being mine. And I stop thinking about, oh, this is my legs and this is my hands and etc. Since I have already offered it to Buddhas, and this becomes a Buddha's subjects or under the Buddha's care or under the control of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Since I'm under the care of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I'm free from all fears, and I do not need to experience sufferings, and I'm free from the 404 types of sicknesses. So what you say is correct. So when you say offer one body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it also includes implicitly one's speech and mind.
Thank you.
나중에 와서 저다 가득다리 나중에 앞에 라바라 뒤에 맞대가 강라 맞대 이 라바라 마세들와 이 라바 나서 미tombe 나서 때 가서다 이우로와 아야 산노 야보 시티래 앉아 땅오데 간다 상제를 피하게 리데 내가 소소게 간다 나보 제바 나오시 상제를 와이 리데 나니 기피나 간다 열라 야 송초 제바 나오시 그 리지 상황 당리 간다 상제를 피 창조된 나라가 이스다 다들 나가 나지와 뢰바 항상 해서
Yeah. So sometimes when we have some pain in our leg or in our hands, then we have this thought that, oh, my hands is in pain or my legs is in pain, not comfortable and so forth, right? So however, if we think further, then when we think further, then we will remember that this body that I have already offered to Buddhas, that is under the control of Buddhas. So this, I'm taking care of this body. So when you think further, then you will have this then you will come to this point that this body that I have offered to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that is under their cares, and then I'm taking care of this body. I'm protecting this body that I have offered to Buddhas and that is under Buddha's care and control. So without the thought that holds one's body as mine, then we offer our bodies to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So when we offer our bodies to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so why does it refer mainly to offering one's body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Is because this is the basis upon which we experiences all sorts of sufferings. So these contaminated appropriated aggregates is the main one upon which we experiences all sorts of sufferings, such as when we are about to fall off cliff. So we will, we think about, this body is about to fall off cliff, right? So we do not think that, my mind is about to fall off cliff, right? So because of this reason, so this body, these contaminated appropriated aggregates upon which we experiences all sorts of sufferings. So these I offer to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So having offered this body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas without a thought holding to it as mine, then this offering itself, offerings one's body, is out of compassion, is out of special pure attitudes for others. So upon this basis of compassion and special pure attitudes, then we offer one's body to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, right? So having offered these bodies to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so not only it comes under the care of Buddhas, that they will take care of us, will care for the practitioners, and even those deities on the white side, or those virtuous practitioners, virtuous practicing gods, and then who has compassion and who has special pure attitudes, they will protect and they will protect and protect those practitioners as well.
그럼 뭐 나서 가르쳐야 돼서 나서 현차도 왔다 현차도 나서 난지서 휴청부지와 난지다 나서 차생 조로와 따뜻히 보는 거예요. 나서 림보 나서 배 현차지서 똑같이 리라 차되었다. 나서 리라 차되. 좋아. 좋아된 나서 배 리라 배 수수 리 되기나 체도 배 현차다다 지는 거다 간다. 내기 네, 수고 라반 중국도 산배 자체 뭐지는 빌라 괜찮 때 대치도 내가 그러면 조지 이 수고 치도 그러면 조지 간다 앞에 현차도 휴청부 쇼까지 가서 위드가 내고 난지 휴청부 현차 휴청부 나서 리드 받지 우리 노노 제스와데 쿠스와데 레라고 차사 레라고 나서 리브 온데 노노 제스와데 레라고 ya kaya shimba ma shimba taari ya kunjula kaya bandi ina pe nito khyombo jile zari nito chenpo jipo zari nito kaya sugo chasa eso na le labo.
And the purposes of offering one's body is to counteract or to counteract attachment towards one body due to self-grasping. And the object that we mostly attach to, that we attach the most, is my body. So if there is any discomfort, if there is any pain in my hands, my legs, and etc., then we will take care of it, right? So and mostly is due to attachment. So that the thing that we attach, or the objects that we attach the most, is one's body. So if you are able to offer the object that we attach most to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then other types of offerings, such as offering one's wealth, resources, objects of enjoyment to others, become very easy. So the purpose of offering one's body is to counteract one's attachment to one's body due to self-grasping. That's all. So the main purpose is to main purpose of offering one's body is to counteract one's attachment towards it. So with it, and I will stop here. So if you have any question, then you please ask in next class.
중앙시 내가라서 대화 많이 와. 그래서 출로라서 그 마음을 좀 좋아. 그래서 많이 와. 대시 밖에 상황이스.
We conclude with dedication. We dedicate these fruits of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. We also dedicate these fruits of virtue to all upholders of Buddha's teaching. May His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all their holy wishes and enlightened activities spread in all 10 directions. And we also dedicate these fruits of virtue to our beloved teacher, Kapitial Lama Zopa Rinpoche. May the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be swiftly returned and continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of teachings as sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to receive the profound teachings from Rinpoche again. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to the world peace and happiness. May wars, famines, conflicts, disaster, natural disaster, such as earthquakes, floods, and so forth, pandemic and diseases be pacified immediately. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who pass away, especially those who pass away due to those conditions, due to those unconducive conditions. May all their negativities accumulated since beginningless time be pacified immediately and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la, Ken. Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
Geshe-la. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
진짜
Thank you,
나고
Ken. Good night, everyone.
Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
나고 진짜 나고.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you,
Simjananho.
Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Geshe-la, Ken,
Thank you.
everyone.
All right, good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
진짜 나고 혈안되고 치고.
Too late. Huh?